In 1980, the United States Mint made a coin that, on the surface, looked utterly ordinary. It was a simple copper-plated Lincoln penny, the kind you might toss in a jar, lose under your couch, or use to scratch a lottery ticket. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, one that looks just like the others, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, you heard that right, an everyday 1-cent coin from 1980. Missing one tiny mint mark has turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight now. Before you start rummaging through your old piggy bank or your grandparents' coin collection, let's uncover the truth behind this mysterious 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Because this isn't just a story about coins, a story about chance, history, and the hidden wealth that might already be in your hands. Let's dive in. Act 1. The discovery. It all begins with a simple observation: a penny without a mint mark. For most people, it's nothing special. For collectors, though, it's a clue. You see, every coin minted in the United States carries a tiny letter that tells you where it was made: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But in 1980, something unusual happened. The Philadelphia Mint had recently begun adding a small P mint mark to its coins. However, a handful of Lincoln cents were struck without it completely blank beneath the date. At first glance, no one noticed. They were circulated like normal, spent at gas stations, grocery stores, maybe even dropped into charity jars. But decades later, coin experts began realizing that some of these pennies were missing the P. A minting error, a tiny detail. Yet, that missing mark changed everything. It's fascinating, isn't it? How something so small could make the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth almost $1 million. And here's where the story gets thrilling. The 1980 no-mint mark penny's current recorded market value, astonishing $966,000, has sent collectors, hobbyists, and everyday Americans into a treasure-hunting frenzy. Imagine holding a coin that could change your life. That's not fantasize happened before. But how does a 1-cent coin end up being worth as much as a luxury home? Act 2. The value. The key lies in rarity, condition, and demand. Think of it this way. Not every error coin is valuable, but every valuable coin is rare. The 1980 no-mint mark penny is so scarce that experts estimate only a few survive in pristine condition today. And in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin with crisp lines, a flawless surface, and minimal wear is like a time capsule touched by decades of use. Now, imagine this. A collector finds a 1980 penny with no mint mark, gleaming under a magnifying glass, its edges sharp, its detail perfect. It's authenticated, graded, and auctioned. The bids climb: $10,000, $100,000, $500,000. Finally, the hammer drops at nearly $1 million. The crowd gasps. The coin world buzzes. And suddenly, the humble penny becomes a national headline. But here's where it gets emotional. Many people out there might already own one without knowing it. Maybe it's in a coffee can of spare change. Maybe it's in a coin album passed down through generations. Maybe it's sitting in your home right now, quietly waiting for discovery. The fear of missing out, of letting such a treasure slip through your fingers, is what keeps collectors awake at night. Because once a rare coin disappears into private collections, it might never be seen again. Now, let's pause for a second. You might be thinking, come on, how can a penny really be worth that much? Fair question. But think about baseball cards, art, or even NFTs. Value is driven by rarity, demand, and story. The 1980 no-mint mark penny has all three. It's not just a coin, it's a mistake that tells a story of precision, oversight, and history, and collectors crave that story. In fact, a few coins in U.S. history have followed a similar pattern: the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, the 1972 double die, and of course, the 1983 no mint mark error. Each one started as pocket change and ended up as an investment worth more than a house. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln cent joins that elite club a coin born from error. Destined for fame. Act 3. The opportunity. So, what does this mean for you? It means that right now, there's a window of opportunity, an invitation to dig, discover, and maybe even cash in. Thousands of Americans are turning their coin collections into small fortunes. And it's not just about selling coins. It's about understanding what you have. Because knowledge turns a coin jar into a treasure chest. If you want to know whether your penny might be the one, here's where to start. Grab a magnifying glass. Look closely at the date 1980, and then check right below it. If there's no mint mark at all, no tiny PD or S, then you might have found something extraordinary. But don't rush to spend it or clean it. The tiniest scratch could destroy thousands of dollars in potential value. Instead, get it appraised by a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts authenticate your coin, assign it a grade, and give you the official market value. And here's a tip only serious collectors know. Sometimes, even slightly flawed coins, those with weak strikes, off-center images, or die crack scans, skyrocket in value. It's all about rarity and demand. The stranger the coin, the more desirable it becomes. Now, let's talk urgency. The coin market, much like real estate or stocks, moves in cycles. When public interest spikes like it has right now, prices surge. But they can cool down just as quickly. Waiting too long could mean missing your chance. The window to cash in on the 1980 no mint mark penny's historic value might not stay open forever. So if you find one, act fast, but act smart. And maybe you're thinking, even if I don't have the rare one, is it still worth collecting? Absolutely. Because coin collecting isn't just about money, it's about legacy. Each coin carries a story, a moment in American history frozen in copper and zinc. Holding one is like holding a piece of the past. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a grandfather showing his grandson a jar of old coins. He says, "Somewhere in here, there could be a penny worth of fortune. That boy grows up curious, inspired, maybe even wealthy one day because of what he finds. That's the magic of collecting. It connects generations, blends curiosity with reward, and turns something ordinary into something priceless. Now, let's add a touch of humor because sometimes the truth sounds almost unbelievable. Picture this. You're at the grocery store. The cashier gives you change, and you absent-mindedly drop a penny in your pocket. Later that night, you realize that penny worth 1 cent's worth $966,000. I don't know about you, but I'd probably call that cashier back and say, "Hey, remember that change? Let's talk." But seriously, these stories happen. And the people who find these coins aren't always experts. They're regular folks, teachers, veterans, retirees, people who took a second look and got rewarded for their curiosity. So, how do you become one of them? You start by looking. Go through your old coin jars, check your drawers, inspect your piggy bank, even your car's cup holder. If you've ever saved pennies from the 1970s or 1980s, don't overlook them. And while you're at it, learn. Study which years and mint marks are valuable. Watch the market. Follow auctions. Because knowledge is your most valuable asset. But here's the real kicker. The story doesn't end with just one coin. The 1980 no-mint mark penny has reignited America's passion for coin hunting. It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight in your wallet, your attic, or your pocket. So, as we come to the end of this story, let me leave you with this thought. How many fortunes are still waiting to be found? How many million-dollar coins are out there, mixed in with everyday change, passed from hand to hand without anyone realizing their worth? Maybe one of them is yours, and that's the beauty of this story. It's not about luck, it's about awareness. It's about recognizing opportunity when it's right in front of you. Because every great discovery starts with someone asking a simple question. What if? What if that penny in your hand isn't just a penny? What if it's your ticket to a life of freedom, abundance, and legacy? Take this as your sign to start looking, to start learning, and to take action today. Because the next coin you pick up might not just be worth 1 cent, it might be worth everything. And as you close this video, don't just think about coins. Think about possibilities. Because if a penny can be worth nearly $1 million, what else in your life might be hiding untapped potential? So go ahead, grab that jar of change, take a closer look, and who knows, your next discovery might just make history. Remember, fortune doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers from the palm of your hand. If you found this story inspiring, share it with someone who's been sitting on a jar of pennies for years. You might just change their life. And for those who are ready to take the next step, to sell or appraise your rare coins, stay tuned. We'll soon dive deeper into how to identify other era coins worth thousands, and how to safely turn your finds into real wealth. Because in the world of coin collecting, opportunity isn't just rare, it's minted. Welcome to a story of hidden fortune, forgotten change, and how a single penny could transform an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. But before you dismiss it as another internet myth, stay with me, because what you're about to learn could literally change your financial destiny. Let's begin. It always starts the same way. Someone cleans out a drawer, empties an old coffee can, or inherits a jar of coins from a relative. They almost toss it aside, until one coin looks just a little different. Maybe the mint mark sits oddly. Maybe the shine feels unusual. Or maybe something deep inside whispers, "Wait, don't spend that." That's how one collector stumbled upon a 1985 penny that turned the numismatic world upside down. At first glance, it was nothing special. Abraham Lincoln's profile, the familiar D below the date for Denver, and a faint copper hue. But under magnification, the details revealed something rare, an extraordinary strike error that made this penny unique among millions. When experts verified it, its jaws dropped. This ordinary coin minted during Ronald Reagan's presidency, when gas was $1.20 a gallon, was suddenly a national headline. The reason? Minting errors that only occur once in a generation, microscopic imperfections that turn a common coin into a masterpiece of accidental rarity. So why does that matter to you? Because millions of 1985 pennies are still out there, hidden in drawers, piggy banks, and old coffee cans. Yours could be one of them, but here's the twist. Most people will never know. Act 2. The mystery behind the $1 million penny. Now let's pull back the curtain. What makes a coin worth nearly $1 million? The answer isn't just in the metal liths in the story written on its surface. In 1985, the Denver Mint was in full production, striking billions of Lincoln cents. But not all strikes are perfect. Some die misalignments, double dies, and planchette errors created a handful of variations that collectors craved like treasure hunters chasing lost gold. These rare defects often go unnoticed until decades later. When someone with a sharp eye realizes they're holding history, the $1 million 1985 penny stands out because of an ultra-rare die clash and off-center strike combination. It's the kind of mistake that should have been melted down but somehow escaped into circulation. A single oversight, one unnoticed detail, and now it's worth more than most people's homes. Imagine that overlooked penny that could pay off every debt, every bill, and still leave you with enough to live the life you've always dreamed of. Here's the kicker. This coin didn't even start as a collector's item. It was pocket change, forgotten, until one determined numismatist spotted it at a flea market and paid less than $1. One sharp eye turned a casual find into a $961,000 masterpiece. Think about that next time you grab coffee and get a handful of change. Now, before you sprint to the nearest coin jar, pause for just a second. Because identifying a true rarity isn't about luck alone. It's about knowing exactly what to look for. So, how can you tell if your 1985 penny might be one of these hidden gems? Start with the basics. On the obverse, the front, check Lincoln's portrait and the D mint mark below the date. A genuine Denver strike should look sharp, but rare versions may have doubling. K, where the date or lettering appears slightly shadowed or doubled. That's your first clue. Flip it over. On the reverse, inspect the Lincoln Memorial. Look for misalignments, doubling on the columns, or a faint die crack that runs through the word 1. These subtle signs can elevate a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure asset, and if you notice any strange coloration or texture differences, don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy value faster than anything else. Instead, place it in a soft holder and get it appraised by a reputable coin grading service like PCGs or NGC. They're the gatekeepers of legitimacy in this world. Now, you might be thinking, sure, but what are the odds? Good question. Realistically, only a few of these million-dollar specimens exist. But thousands of high-grade or partial error 1985D pennies still sells for hundreds, even thousands, every year. Some graded at MS68 red have fetched over $5,000 at auction. That's serious money for something most people overlook daily. And here's the truth, every market has its moment. Right now, coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's an investment frontier. The surge in gold and precious metal prices has reignited interest in rare coins, driving demand and prices sky high. That 1985D penny's current estimated value of $961,000 isn't fantasy. It's today's reality, but markets change. Timing matters. That's why, if you suspect you have something special, act fast. Get it graded. Verify it. Protect it. Because every day that passes, a coin could deteriorate or a new discovery could shift values. Time, just like a coin, can't be remade. Let's take a quick pause here, because if you're still watching, it means something deep inside you is stirring. Maybe it's curiosity. Maybe it's the dream of freedom from the 9-to-5 grind. Or maybe it's that little spark that says, why not me? And I'll tell you something powerful. Every millionaire in history started by noticing something others ignored. This isn't just about coins. It's about awareness seeing potential where others see pocket change. Now, let's inject a little humor to reset your focus. Because yes, right now, there are people tearing apart couch cushions across America, yelling, "Honey, where's the penny jar?" And honestly, they might not be wrong to do it. Still, let's stay smart. Knowledge is the real treasure here. Knowing which coins matter, where to find them, and how to sell them safely separates dreamers from doers. So how do you sell a rare penny worth nearly $1 million? First, documentation is everything. Certification from PCGs or NGC validates authenticity and grade. Without that, collectors won't take you seriously. Second, never rush into a sale. Contact reputable auction houses, heritage auctions, Stacks, Bowers, or Great Collections. They can help you navigate the market, set reserve prices, and ensure you reach the right buyers. A direct private sale might sound appealing, but it's easy to get underpaid if you don't understand your coin's full potential. Third, protect your identity. Yes, really. Once news breaks that you own a coin worth nearly $1 million, privacy becomes your greatest asset. Keep documentation secure and consult legal or financial advisors. Before cashing in, remember, the goal isn't just to sell it, to maximize. You're not trading metal. You're transferring history. But let's circle back to something bigger, the emotional side of this story. Why do stories like this captivate us so deeply? It's not just the money. It's what the money represents. Possibility. Proof that hidden value still exists in a world obsessed with the next digital trend. A reminder that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest rewards, and maybe, just maybe, it's the hope that fortune still favors the observant, because every penny has a story and some. Like the 1985D Lincoln. Carry a legacy that transcends generations. Picture it, holding that coin in your palm. You feel the weight of history, of craftsmanship, of pure luck. It's a bridge between past and future, a whisper from 1985 that says, "Don't overlook the details. The details are where wealth hides." Now, before we close, let's confront the biggest fear that stops most people. Doubt. What if I don't find one? What if this is too complicated? What if it's too late? It's never too late to learn, to look, to start. Every collector began with curiosity. Every great discovery began with a moment just like this, someone, somewhere, watching a video, realizing they might be sitting on hidden wealth. And even if you never find $1 million penny, the act of searching awakens something priceless: awareness, the mindset of possibility, the eye for value in a world that rushes past it. That mindset changes everything. Let's wrap this up with a question, and it's a serious one. When was the last time you truly looked at the pennies in your hand? Not just glance, but looked. Because one of them might not just be worth a cent. It might be worth your freedom, your dream home, your next chapter. The next time you see that tiny copper glint, remember, fortune doesn't always wear gold. Sometimes it wears Lincoln's face. So tonight, when you get home, grab that old jar. Pour it out. Lay those coins in a line. The 1985D you've ignored for decades might just be your ticket to a life you never imagined. And if you find it, don't hesitate. Verify it. Protect it. Tell your story, because in this world, opportunity doesn't knock, it jingles softly in your pocket, waiting for someone wise enough to listen. If this story inspired you, don't let it end here. Subscribe. Stay curious. And remember, wealth isn't always found in what's new. It's often hiding in what we've forgotten. Your next million might be resting quietly in the palm of your hand. Now, before you brush this off and think, there's no way a penny could be worth that much, let me stop you right there. Because that's exactly what collectors and treasure hunters thought too, until the discovery of a coin that shook the numismatic world to its core. This isn't just a story about money. It's about fate, attention to detail, and the hidden fortunes sitting in the hands of everyday Americans, maybe even in yours. Let's start from the beginning. Act 1. The coin that was never meant to exist. In 1988, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. Most of them were completely ordinary pennies with Abraham Lincoln's familiar face and the small letter P beneath the date to mark their origin. But a few slipped through the cracks. A few, somehow, came out without a mint mark at all. No P, no D. Just the year 1988 to the naked eye, these coins looked normal. Just another copper-plated zinc penny. But in the world of coin collectors, that missing mint mark signaled something special, minting error. And not just any error. A once-in-a-generation mistake that created one of the rarest modern pennies in American history. Now here's where it gets interesting. Usually, when the mint makes an error, they catch it early, destroy the flawed coins, and start fresh. But somehow, these error pennies slipped past quality control. They entered circulation quietly, undetected, mixing in with millions of regular cents. And for decades, they went unnoticed, passed from hand to hand, dropped into vending machines, forgotten in drawers. Until one day, an eagle-eyed collector spotted the difference, and that moment changed everything. In the early 2000s, coin forums and collecting communities started buzzing. Someone had found a 1988 Lincoln penny without the Philadelphia mint mark, and it didn't look like any other known variation. Experts began examining it closely. Was it a counterfeit, a worn-out mark, or something more? As the research deepened, one fact became crystal clear. This was a legitimate error coin, a true U.S. Mint blunder. And not only was it genuine, was extremely rare. Only a handful were ever confirmed to exist now. You might be thinking, all right, so it's rare, but how does that translate to value? Great question. Because rarity alone doesn't make a coin worth millions. Condition, demand, and historical context all play huge roles. But this particular penny hit the jackpot on all three. First, rarity. Only a tiny number of these no-mint mark 1988 pennies have ever been verified, making it one of the scarcest modern errors in the entire Lincoln cent series. Second, demand. The Lincoln cent is one of the most collected coins in U.S. history. Millions of Americans of Lincoln penny collections. And serious investors will pay a premium for any coin that completes their set or represents a one-well-kind minting story. And third, condition. When one of these coins appeared in almost pristine, uncirculated, state graded by professional services, as near mint, the auction world exploded. Collectors began outbidding each other in frenzy. Offers started at thousands, jumped to tens of thousands, and before long, the coin's price skyrocketed into the hundreds of thousands. Then, one record-breaking sale hit $955,000. Yes, you heard that right, just shy of $1 million for a single penny. Let that sink in for a moment. A penny that cost 1 cent to make, sold for nearly $1 million. If that doesn't make you want to check your change jar right now, I don't know what will. But wait, don't rush to your couch cushions just yet. Because not every 1988 penny without a mint mark is valuable land. Here's where Act 3 begins. How to tell if you have the $1 million penny. Let's be honest. The idea of a life-changing coin hiding in your pocket sounds almost too good to be true. But this isn't a lottery. It's a skill game. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1 million treasure comes down to tiny details most people overlook. Here's what you need to look for. Grab a magnifying glass, some good lighting, and your patience. Focus on 3 main things: the mint mark, the design details, and the condition. First, the mint mark. The most obvious clue is its absence. The Philadelphia Mint typically uses a small P mark, but the rare 1988 no-mint mark penny will have nothing there at all. Just a clean, open space beneath the date. But don't get too excited yet, because the Philadelphia Mint didn't actually use the P on all coins in 1988. So there's more to this story. The real tell is in the design. Specifically, look at the letters AM in America on the back of the coin. In the 1988 transitional error, the Mint accidentally used the reverse design intended for 1989 pennies. This tiny mistake created what experts call the 1988 transitional reverse variety. The A&M in America are touching, or nearly touching, you. Might just have a rare variety on your hands. If there's a visible gap, it's the regular version. It's those microscopic details that turn an everyday coin into a fortune. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Experts believe that some of these rare pennies were minted at the Denver facility too, meaning there could be both 1988D and 1988 no mint mark varieties floating around in the wild, which means your chances might be better than you think. Now, let's talk about condition. Collectors value perfection. A coin in uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear, can multiply in value 100-fold compared to one that's been in circulation. That's why professional grading is key. Companies like PCGs and NGC authenticate and grade rare coins, assigning them a quality score from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the higher the value. The $1 million 1988 penny. It was nearly perfect. You might be wondering, okay, if I do find one, where do I sell it? And how do I know it's real? Great questions, because this is where many hopeful treasure hunters make costly mistakes. Don't rush to sell it on eBay for a quick payday. First, get it professionally appraised. Reach out to certified dealers or grading services. They can confirm authenticity, condition, and give you a realistic estimate of its worth. Once verified, you can list it at high-end auctions or through private collectors who specialize in rare minting errors. That's where serious money changes hands. And speaking of serious money, let's talk about what this story really means. Because yes, this is a story about a rare coin, but it's also a story about awareness, opportunity, and timing. How many people handled this penny before it was discovered? How many gas stations, grocery stores, and banks unknowingly passed a fortune from one hand to another. The truth is, most people never notice what's right in front of them. And that's a powerful reminder not just for coin collecting, but for life itself. Sometimes, the things we overlook, the small, ordinary details, hold the greatest value. It's about learning to see what others ignore now. Let's pause for a second. If you've made it this far, your curiosity probably has you glancing toward your old coin jar right now. Maybe even itching to dump it out. That's good. Because this isn't just about curiosity, it's about action. Most people will watch this video, feel amazed, and move on. But a few will take this as a sign to start searching, to start learning, and to start paying attention. Those few might just stumble upon their own six-figure find. And let's be real for a moment. Who wouldn't want to turn something as humble as a penny into financial freedom? Imagine paying off your home, retiring early, or funding your dream business. All because you took a closer look at the coins you already own. It sounds poetic, doesn't it? That's the beauty of it. Now, before we wrap up, here's a little pattern interrupt, because I can almost hear you saying, "Okay, I get it, but what are the odds?" Well, here's a funny way to think about it. The odds of finding a rare 1988 no mint mark penny might be slim. But so are the odds of buying a cup of coffee for $1 these days. Yet people still line up every morning hoping for a little caffeine miracle. So why not add a treasure hunt to your daily routine? Check your change. Every trip to the grocery store, every handful of coins at the gas station, it's an opportunity waiting to happen. And unlike most opportunities in life, this one costs you nothing but attention. Let's tie it all together. Act 1 introduced us to the mystery of coin that was never supposed to exist. Act 2 revealed the discovery how a tiny detail created $1 million frenzy. And Act 3 gave you the tools, the knowledge, to recognize that same potential in your own collection. But now comes the real question. What will you do with this information? Will you be like most people, entertained? Or will you take this as your wake-up call to look closer, to dig deeper, to realize that wealth often hides in plain sight? Because if a 1-cent coin can be worth $955,000, what hidden value might be sitting right under your nose? Not just in your change jar, but in your life, your skills, your overlooked opportunities. The story of the 1988 no mint mark penny is a reminder that fortune favors the observant, and sometimes the key to unlocking wealth isn't luck, it's awareness. Imagine for a moment finding that coin, the thrill, the disbelief, the rush of realizing that a tiny copper piece of history could change your financial life forever. That's not a fantasy, it's real. And today, I'm going to reveal why the 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny has taken the numismatic world by storm. What makes it so incredibly rare? And exactly how you can check if you have one worth nearly $1 million. But before we get there, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly looked at a penny? Most of us don't. We toss them aside, ignore them at the register, even let them pile up in jars for years. But what if I told you that ignoring your pennies could be the most expensive mistake of your life? Let's travel back to 2002, a year of change and innovation. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents. Most were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Each stamped with a tiny letter mark P, D, or S, but in a rare, mysterious twist. A small batch left the mint without any mark at all. At first, nobody noticed. After all, a missing letter on a 1-cent coin doesn't exactly make headlines. But for collectors, that tiny detail was a crack in the ordinary and anomaly that would become a treasure. One of these plain, unassuming pennies would later resurface and send shockwaves through the numismatic community. Now, you might be thinking, no mint mark. So what? Here's where the story gets fascinating. A no mint mark coin from 2002 shouldn't exist. Modern minting processes are tightly controlled. The omission of a mint mark indicates a production-era human oversight or a mechanical slip-up. And in coin collecting, that's like striking gold as word spread. Collectors began scouring their change, hunting through rolls of pennies from banks, even buying sealed boxes just to find one. For years, the 2002 no mint mark penny became a whispered legend. But the true shocker came when one of these coins, in pristine condition, was auctioned for an unbelievable $946,000. And that's when everything changed. This is where things get interesting and urgent. You see, not every 2002 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. Most are ordinary. But the key is in the details, the sharpness of the strike, the luster of the copper, the weight, and the edges. These subtle indicators separate a common cent from a life-changing rarity. Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table. A pile of old pennies in front of you. You pull one out, a 2002 Lincoln cent. You flip it under the light. No mint mark. Your heart skips. Could it be? This moment of discovery has changed people's lives. Literally, overnight. Let's break down why these coins are so valuable. First, rarity. Only a handful are known to exist. The error occurred during a short production window before it was corrected. Second, condition. Collectors call it mint state. No scratches, no wear. Perfect surfaces. Third, demand. As more people learn about this coin, the demand surges, driving prices higher. Now, here's the emotional truth. Most of us dream of a lucky break, something unexpected that could open the door to financial freedom. Finding a rare coin like this isn't just about money. It's about possibility. It's the moment you realize that something small and forgotten could hold unimaginable value. And here's a humorous thought. Imagine buying a cup of coffee with a penny worth, almost $1 million. That's the most expensive caffeine boost in history. But here's where many people make a critical mistake. They rush to sell their coin without proper verification. That can cost you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you think you have one, never clean it, never polish it, and never sell it without professional grading. A certified grading service like PCG's or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, often multiplying its value overnight. And let's not forget, the coin market is booming right now. In recent years, rare coin values have surged as investors and collectors pour money into tangible assets. The fear of missing out is real because once these coins disappear into private collections, they may never hit the market again. Now that you understand the rarity and the potential, let's talk about the bigger picture, what this coin truly represents. It's not just a piece of copper. It's a symbol of hidden wealth. It reminds us that opportunity often hides in plain sight, waiting for those who pay attention. The 2002 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny challenges the way we see value. Most people overlook it, just like they overlook small chances in life that could lead to greatness. It's easy to dismiss the ordinary, but sometimes the ordinary holds extraordinary potential. Imagine finding one of these coins, selling it for close to $1 million, and using that windfall to transform your life to pay off your home. Start a business or secure your family's future. That's not just money. That's freedom. Here's another twist. The coin story is still unfolding. Experts believe there are still undiscovered examples out there. In change jars, estate boxes, old wallets just waiting to be found. Every time a new one surfaces, it makes headlines, reigniting the hunt and driving values even higher. So, if you're watching this right now, think of it as your wake-up call. The next time you find a 2002 penny, don't ignore it. Inspect it carefully. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Check the edges, the color, the shine, because that simple moment of curiosity could unlock a fortune. Let's pause for a second. Isn't it amazing that something so small, something we've all handled 1,000 times, could hold the key to wealth? It makes you wonder how many treasures slip through our fingers every day because we just didn't look closely enough. Here's a question for you. What would you do if you found $1 million penny? Would you sell it, frame it, or keep it as a family heirloom? While you think about that, here's a bit of irony. The coin that's changing lives today was designed to symbolize hard work, humility, and everyday America. Abraham Lincoln's face shade on a penny reminds us of perseverance through adversity. How fitting, then, that a Lincoln penny could now be the ticket to your own financial breakthrough. Now, before we wrap up, let me leave you with a bit of motivation. Don't wait for luck, look for it. Because luck often shows up disguised as something ordinary. Maybe it's an old penny, a forgotten collection, or a dusty box in the attic. Fortune favors the curious. The story of the 2002 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just about coins, it's about awareness, opportunity, and timing. And right now, the time couldn't be better. Coin collecting is seeing a resurgence. Auction houses are setting new records. The rare coin market is hottened. Those who act today could secure a piece of history before prices climb even higher. As of today, the last known sale of a 2002 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny was confirmed at around $946,000. Experts predict that the next Ka 1-2 surface could easily cross the $1 million mark. Yes, a single penny worth more than most homes in America. So go ahead, check your change. Look in those old jars. Ask your parents, your grandparents, your friends. You never know where the next $1 million penny might be hiding. And if you do find one, well, remember this moment. Because you'll look back and realize that a simple video, a few minutes of curiosity, turned into a life-changing discovery. The truth is, wealth isn't always found in Wall Street investments or luxury real estate. Sometimes it's sitting quietly in the palm of your hand, waiting for you to notice. The question is, will you look? So, as you go about your day, remember, opportunity doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through the sound of a penny dropping. Now, take that inspiration and act on it. Go search. Go explore. Because fortune favors the ones who dare to look closer. And who knows? The next time you hear that familiar clink of a penny hitting the counter, it might not be just loose change. It might be the sound of your future wealth calling your name. Stay curious, stay bold, and always, always check your change, because your $1 million penny could be waiting. They say fortune favors the bold, but sometimes fortune hides in plain sight, right inside your pocket change. Imagine this. You're holding a single penny, a coin worth just 1 cent, but it could change your life forever. One of these 2006 mint mark Lincoln cents recently shocked collectors by selling for over $933,000. That's nearly $1 million. For a penny most people would never look twice at. Now, before you brush this off as another internet rumor or clickbait story, stay with me, because what I'm about to show you might just send you running to your coin jar. Act 1. The discovery. It all began like most legends do, quietly. In 2006, the Denver Mint released hundreds of millions of Lincoln 1-cent coins, the familiar copper-plated zinc pieces, featuring the stoic profile of Abraham Lincoln. To most Americans, they were just spare change. But among them, a tiny fraction carried something extraordinary. A minting mistake so rare, so precise, that only a trained eye or pure luck could ever spot it. This particular penny wasn't made of solid copper like the old 1909 coins, but of a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper coat. Yet one 2006 cent appeared. Different. Its surface shimmered oddly, its edges sharper, its color richer, as if it refused to age. When it finally came to light, experts confirmed what many had hoped, but few believed. It was a unique mint error. Struck with the wrong metal composition. Pause and think about that. A single penny struck on the wrong planchette, a coin that shouldn't exist. Here's where things get interesting. Normally, such mint errors get caught before they ever leave the factory floor. But this one slipped through the cracks. It circulated. It lived an ordinary life for years, maybe decades, before a sharp-eyed collector spotted it, and when that penny hit the auction block, the world took notice. A humble 2006 Lincoln cent 1 cent in face value, fetched a staggering $933,000. Now, imagine finding that in your couch cushions or inside your kid's piggy bank. By this point, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have one of these? Is it possible that $1 million penny is hiding in my pocket right now? Here's the truth. Yes, it's possible, but only if you know exactly what to look for. First, let's talk about the D. That little letter under the date on the coin stands for Denver, the mint where it was produced. The 2006 D series is known for its crisp detail and bright finish. But among millions, a few stand apart because of striking anomalies. Some show doubling. That's when the image or letters appear slightly shadowed or doubled. Others were struck on foreign planchettes or on experimental metal blends never meant for circulation. The most valuable of all, a 2006 D struck on a pre-1982 copper planchette, a leftover blank that somehow found its way into the press line. That's the one that changed everything. Instead of weighing the standard 2.5 grams, it weighs 3.1 grams, a subtle difference only detectable with a small-scale dot, and that small detail is worth, well, about $933,000 today. Now, if you're suddenly itching to pull out your coin jar, good. That's the spark every collector feels when they realize there's treasure hiding in plain sight. But let's not stop there, because this story isn't just about a lucky penny. It's about opportunity, the kind of opportunity that rewards the curious and the informed. Funny how we walk past pennies on the ground, isn't it? How many fortunes have we ignored because they looked ordinary? Here's another kicker. The coin market is hotter now than it's been in decades. Collectors are paying record prices for mint errors, rare dates, and high-grade examples. Just in the past few years, several Lincoln cents from the 2000s, coins most of us grew up using, have broken the 5- and 6-figure mark. The demand is real. Why? Because scarcity drives value, and nostalgia fuels obsession. People don't just want coins, they want pieces of history they can hold in their hands, and with inflation and market uncertainty, tangible assets like coins are becoming modern gold. Now, if you're thinking, all right, but where do I start? Here's your first mission. Go through every penny you have. Check the date. Flip it over. Examine the D mint mark under magnification. And most importantly, weigh it. If it reads 3.1 grams, you might be holding a copper planchette error. If the color seems to red, the edges too smooth, or the details slightly off, don't dismiss it. Get it verified by a professional grading service, like PCGs or NGC. These experts can confirm authenticity and assign a grade that could multiply its value. Overnight, I'll tell you a secret that coin dealers don't like to share. They know that most people never check. The majority of rare finds are discovered by ordinary folks who were just curious enough to look closer. Now, imagine this. You've sent your coin off for grading. Weeks later, a letter arrives. It's official. You're holding a rare 2006 D copper penny. The estimated market value? Close to $1 million. What would you do next? Pay off the mortgage, Retire early. Maybe start that business you've been dreaming about. That's the life-changing power of awareness. A single decision to look, to check, Keeg, to believe can shift your financial future forever. And here's the thing, this isn't just about money. It's about mindset. Most people think wealth is something that happens to other people, but every millionaire started as someone who simply noticed opportunity where others didn't. That's the real secret of the 2006 penny. It's not just a rare coin, it's a reminder that the smallest things can carry the greatest value. But before you run off, let me drop a quick truth bomb. The window to cash in on coins like these might be closing. As awareness spreads, as collectors hunt down the remaining few, the market will tighten. When supply disappears, so do chances like this. So the best time to start searching isn't tomorrow. It's now. Let's reset for a second, because if you've made it this far, you're clearly serious about finding out what your old coins are worth. Here's a funny thought. How many of us spend hours scrolling through social media, but never spend 10 minutes checking the change in our drawers? Maybe the next millionaire isn't the one trading stocks. Maybe it's the one counting pennies. Still skeptical? Consider this. In 2023 alone, over 20 modern U.S. pennies sold for more than $10,000 each at public auction. That's not ancient gold, that's coins minted during your lifetime, and the 2006 copper penny remains the crown jewel. Experts predict its value could soon surpass the $1 million mark as more collectors compete for the few verified examples. Imagine that, a 1-cent coin breaking into 7-figure territory. It's poetic, really. The most undervalued coin in America becoming the symbol of hidden wealth. And that brings us to our final moment, the lesson behind the legend. We live in a world that trains us to overlook the small stuff. We chase big numbers, big moments, big rewards. But sometimes greatness hides in the smallest corners, in the rusted coin tray at the gas station, in the forgotten jar at your grandparents' house, in the palm of your hand. That's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just about one rare coin. It's about rediscovering curiosity, paying attention, and realizing that wealth often whispers instead of shouts. So the next time you see a penny on the ground, don't step over it. Pick it up, examine it, respect it, because who knows? That little coin might be the key to your next chapter, your $1 million story waiting to be told. Let's wrap with a question, not for me, but for you. What if your path to wealth isn't about earning more, but about noticing more? That's the quiet revolution happening among coin collectors right now. Ordinary Americans, just like you, turning forgotten pennies into fortunes. If you've ever dreamed of financial freedom, of breaking the cycle, of living with purpose and abundance, start where you are. Start small. Start with the coins in your hand. Because somewhere out there, another 2006 Lincoln cent is waiting to be found. And it's only a matter of time before someone discovers it. Will it be you? If this video inspired you, don't let it end here. Subscribe for more stories of rare coins, hidden treasures, and opportunities to build lasting wealth from the simplest places. And as always, keep your eyes open, your coins clean, and your curiosity alive. Your $1 million penny might already be closer than you think.